Yes, people. Welcome back to another stream. Smash these likes up real quick, man. Over 700 people locked in already. I don't know why there's so many people in the building, but smash the likes up. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. New Mercy Kelly tune goes hard, isn't it, Amos?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Big up, guys. And smash these likes up. Get the likes up rapid. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channels as well. If you guys are new, yeah, big up as well, man. Yeah, hanging scenes, to be honest with you. I've seen that before. Before I was live on Potsy's channel, man. So yeah, hopefully everyone's all right in it. Horrible situation there. Right, we're talking. Well, season's over, man. So we need to talk about get these guys' views on the season. Get these guys' views on who should stay, who should go. Who we can be buying. Obviously, a couple of deals in the works already. City look like we're moving quite quickly. Maybe not as quickly as some people would like. Maybe not as quick as some other teams. But it does look like City are certainly on the move. Rumoured deals for Tijani Reinders. Apparently now is an advanced stage, whatever that means. Maybe he's out a bit further behind. Ike Nori, Fabrizio Romano speaking about that. I've got a video coming out on the second channel as well on that tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that one as well. Gibbs White, what's going on there? We know there's interest. The City try to progress that deal. Don't know. And then obviously, are we going to sign another fullback? And nothing on Edison yet, which is quite interesting because it seemed like he was destined to leave, man. So, yeah, boys, like what you guys saying the season's finally over? Let me start off with you, man. Like, what are you saying?
I'm glad to see the back of it, man. I'm glad to see the back of it. There's only so much negativity I can take. Like that was a roller coaster of a season, wasn't it? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. It's nice to get the Champions League football. I suppose that sweetens it up a little bit. No trophies is a bit hard to take, you know, especially coming out of Wembley the other week. But I suppose that's football as well. And it kind of was the year of teams that don't normally win trophies getting their hands on trophies. And that's across Europe. So I suppose for the neutral and the general football fan, it was probably a very enjoyable season. But for ourselves who are so experienced in lifting trophies and are so used to fun days out, we weren't treated to very many this season. But you kind of have to take it on the chin, people, don't you? When you're as spoiled as we've been for years, you kind of have to take it on the chin. So look, 2024, 2025, it's not one I will remember. I'll probably forget about it in 12 months' time. But, you know what I'm saying? It's time to move on and build. And that's probably the way the club have been looking at it for weeks now. I'd say since we've had the league title race, I would say the board have been talking about it. How the hell can we...
Have you seen the 2025 table, Amos? Man City are top of the Premier League 2025 table, which is fucking another just absolutely incredible thing. You know what I mean? I don't know Liverpool.
That's the most Arsenal thing I've ever heard in my life. That's the most.
I know it is Arsenal. I know it's Arsenal, but you know what? When you don't, I see why Arsenal fans do what they do, because when you don't win anything, you try and find
clinging on to it, aren't you?
You cling on to the shit. So I understand why Arsenal fans have done this for the last 5 years now.
You win or you lose, man. You can't win 3-month leagues and 6-month leagues.
I hear it, bro. I hear it. But listen, leagues,
but it puts it into perspective how bonkers this season has been. It's been, I mean, another one. City have finished with more wins than Arsenal. Like, what? How have City had more wins than Arsenal this season?
That's just an embarrassment to Arsenal, man. That's an absolute. They're an absolute.
They've had a terrible season.
They are an absolute embarrassment, man, for all the yipping and yapping they did about what they were going to do and who they were going to overtake and waiting for Pep to fall off and City to fall off. You got your wish and you did sweet fuck all. You know what I'm saying? Your man from Holland came straight in and walked his way to a league trophy. That Liverpool team aren't even amazing. They're not amazing, but credit to
Darwin Núñez up front, you know.
Yeah, man, but they did what they needed to do. There wasn't much opposition put up against them. City fell off. We're allowed that. We're entitled to that after winning 4 in a row. But those Gooners are absolute losers. And I see people on the timeline being genuinely serious, saying the Women's Champions League is bigger than the Europa League. You can have your debates about that, but let's not put them together. Let's not compare them. Like, your men's team, who are meant to be in phase 25, have done absolutely nothing. Well done to the women's team, but let's not do this. Come on, man. We're scraping the barrel here.
He's come out fighting tonight. He's come out gloves off.
I'm not letting myself get done in by the Gooners tonight, man. Let's talk about fucking Ike Nori or some shit.
Bro, I wanted to before you went. That's a very Arsenal thing if you just said there, LB. Like, you brought it up, bro. You rattled yourself.
Come out swinging.
I hate them, man. I hate them. I think they're a pack of melons.
I think we can tell, to be honest. Amos, where are you at, man? The season's over. What's your state of mind right now?
We speak about players being fatigued with too much football and whatever. I think we've got to think of the podcasters and the YouTubers and the streamers, because I'm just like, I've just hit a brick wall. The season's done. I'm like, get me to some beach somewhere and let us rest. You know what I mean? It's been the thing is, like, usually you've got City in the title race and it's intense and it's sort of, you're clinging on every week. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? Whatever. But there's that buzz, isn't there? I think this year though, it's been such a drag, and I'm not saying like that's entitlement. I think people have kind of mistaken frustration in some parts for entitlement, because had City been mid-table, nothing going on, it'd have been crap, but it wouldn't have been that bad. I just think because it's been so up and it's been so down and it's been a roller coaster. One winning 13, whatever it was, looking like you're gonna possibly end the season with an FA Cup final. You do a pathetic performance, in my opinion, that FA Cup final. Not to beat Palace and whatnot. Then you come back and you get Champions. That Southampton game as well. It's just been such an absolutely bonkers, bizarre season to try and make any sense of. Like you said, just glad to see the back of it, because it has just been absolutely mental.
Do you think that, given what I've just said then about the tabling and how relatively strong we finished in the sense that unbeaten in the league in 11 games, I think it was now. Do you think that maybe things just got really bad for a period of time, but for the rest of it, it's actually been semi-okay, or like... But basically what I'm trying to work out is like, do we need this mass rebuild in terms of, like, some people talk about 6, 7, 8 new players, or is it just a case of getting a couple of players back from injury and then adding with 3, 4 players? Is that enough?
I think the issue is the fact that City lost the transfer window, didn't they, last summer? And you might say they made up with it in January, but you lose in that case, for example, Gusanov, Marmoush, Vita Heiss, Nico Gonzalez. They lost. Say, for example, in a parallel universe, you bring them in the summer instead. Those guys have still lost 6 months of football under Guardiola. They've lost 6 months of footy playing with the team. And you might say, yeah, we brought them in January. That makes up for the summer, blah, blah. But I think the issue is that City have now left themselves... It feels like, unless they do go absolutely all out this summer, 5 players leave, 7 players, something like that. 7 players come in, which I don't think they will for clarity. It does feel like they're going to be playing catch up for a bit, because you look across the squad, be that starting 11 players, be that squad options, there's probably going to be a gap somewhere. And you might say, all teams have gaps, and we can't be too spoiled. But I just think the way it has gone, City might have just left themselves with a bit too much to do. The guys coming back from injury, they're still strong. We could have done with Akanji throughout the season. We could have done with, obviously, the other fellas who have been injured here and there. John Stones, Nathan Ake. That will help. But what's to say that this doesn't happen next season? These guys aren't getting younger. If Nathan Ake stays, we all know he's got injury issues. He's going to get injured at some point next season. Akanji might pick up a knock. He's getting, That's I think the issue that City now face, is that it feels like they're probably going to be playing catch up a little bit too much than they should have done.
Yeah, I feel that, like, there's obviously a lot of work to do with this squad, but if we can get it, what I'm looking at is, right, the way I see this transfer window going at the moment, and of course I'll come to some of the messages about Rodrigo in a minute, right, because I see a couple of super chats on Rodrigo, but I still think that's probably unlikely. If we look at where the most likely position of this squad in terms of incomings, it's looking like maybe a new goalkeeper. Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? Ait Nouri, probably looking like something that City are interested in. Should be doable, given he's only got 2 years on the contract with his 1-year contract extension. Tijani Reinders, which looks like it's pretty far advanced right now. And maybe Gibbs White. And I think they probably will get that one across the line as well. And then probably going to get another fullback. Maybe this Wesley fella, maybe someone else. I'm looking at that and then thinking to myself, okay, if you add that to this current squad, get Rodri returned, get Foden returned. Is that good enough to win the league? And I think it is good enough to win the league. I don't think it's as good enough as in previous years where at the start of the season, every single City fan around the world's going, we are going to win the league. I don't think it's as good as that. But I think it's good enough to where we can say, you know what, we've got a solid chance of winning the league.
They'd probably won this league. If you look at, what was it Liverpool finished on, like 80, 84 points or something like that. I mean, look, every league title is a league title. Some are more equal than others. But that, for comparative sort of over the last few years, that's a really low standard. So I think had you had City with 20%, 25% of the players that had gone down injury, say, for example, Rodri was out injured for 3 months as opposed to 6 or whatever it was, and you had Nathan Ake and John Stones out for a month instead of 4 or whatever it's been. I think City do have a really good shot at challenging Liverpool. The issue is when you look across, an hour down the road, they're strengthening whilst on top. City is still playing catch up. It feels like City have got to get where Liverpool are right now before they can even go on and challenge Liverpool. Liverpool are looking to go to that next level. Arsenal, as much as we love to banter them and they deserve all the stick they get, it feels like they're going to have a really big window. And whether that or not that's enough, who knows? Because sometimes it is ingrained in sort of the club DNA, isn't it, with that lot? But they're going to be looking to improve. You know, I think that's the only sort of tinge of disappointment after this season I'm looking at it, because you can't expect, no one at the start of the season was saying, yes, City should be going out and winning 5 in a row. That's crazy talk. But I think the only tinge of disappointment is just not recognising that it needed to be done earlier. But that's a conversation we've had for the best part of 6 months
it is, and it's also a conversation that has in the sense of the Rodri situation, and I think we all look back now, and obviously some people were saying this back in the summer, and fair play to you guys. I know you had to hold a lot of smoke from a lot of people's calling you entitled and all this kind of shit, but there was a lot of City fans back in the summer saying this is not good enough for the Rodri replacement, getting a Gundogan back. And you know, some people went with it. I was buzzing. You know, I mean, some people was calling it out. Big up Pulpy was saying this is not going to work, and therefore, I guess, say we should have got someone. That has been addressed to a degree with the signing of Nico Gonzalez. Obviously, Pep's not played him that much this year in that position, but I think that is just a current sort of trust in the old guard, and I think going into next season, there'll be much more trusting of him. So that's something that's been addressed. You then look at our current midfield of Gundogan, Kovacic, and Bernardo Silva. Obviously, KDB's going. Tijani Reinders, he's better than all those 3 players, right? In the current day, obviously in the prime, maybe not, but in the current day, he's better than all them. So that's an uplift. We don't have a left back at the football club, and we don't have a right back at the football club. So theoretically, anyone that we sign should be better than what we've currently got. And if the board somehow managed to sign a left back that's not better than our current left back, who's not a left back, and a right back that's not better than Nunes, who's not a right back, then that's some tricky work. I can't lie. So again, to try and be very positive tonight, to try and be positive, I kind of feel that it's almost impossible for the board not to improve this squad, because I think this squad is so depleted in terms of the quality in some of the players. They're too old. We have no fullbacks. I feel like if you get a couple of fullbacks, you get Tijani Reinders, you get a couple of players in, it has to improve, because the players that you're buying have to be better than the players that we've currently got, because if it's almost impossible to buy worse players than the players we've currently got. And obviously in certain positions, left back and right back, we don't actually have one. So I don't know, man. I'm quite optimistic about next season in the sense that I don't see us being a million miles away from Liverpool. I don't see us ending the season Liverpool champions again and City being 15 points behind, behind Liverpool. Maybe we won't win it, and we have no divine right to win it. But I don't see a world in which Liverpool win that league next year and we're more than 7 or 8 points behind it. And you know, you've got to be competing, and I think the squad is good enough. But I don't know, Hugh, what you saying? Am I glazing here or Nana? We'll come to super chats in a second, people. Big up to everyone that's done it. What are you saying?
Well, if you can get one of the super chats here, there's one came in a few minutes ago from Russ saying we're miles off Liverpool. Let's be real. I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that.
Not right now, anyway. With where their squad has ended the season, we'll see at the start of next season.
We absolutely, we're not right now, and we have the capacity and the time, which is on our side, to make sure we're not a million miles off them next season either. I struggle to see a world where Liverpool win the league as comfortably next season as they did this season. That can't be allowed. That's where alarm bells will really start to ring for me with Manchester City and the decisions in the boardroom if they allow something like this to happen a second season in a row. I think it's fully understandable on a human level for one or two transfer windows to not be the level you want, for players' hunger levels to drop, for issues to arise, and that's human nature. Things like that are going to happen, and a season will ultimately pan out the way ours just did. But we've done stream after stream. You've done stream after stream. Everyone in the chat talks about it all day and all night. The issues are glaringly obvious and what they need to do. I'm slightly more optimistic about what we currently have than maybe some people are. I think the spine of the team is still really, really good. Like, I would like to keep Ederson. I don't know if we'll have a conversation about him. I would like to keep Ederson. I think that would be a fantastic coup if you can get Ederson committed and to continue, and he's in the right frame of mind. I still think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You've Ruben Diaz there if he's on form, Vardiol there, of course, Ake, whatever. Then you go Foden, Rodri, and you've Haaland up front. Maybe you throw Reinders in beside Foden. There's a really good spine there to be had. It's just the nuts and bolts around it. There's just a couple things which are potentially easier said than done, but more goal scorers. You know what I'm saying? Like wingers who will score goals. I'm sure we'll talk about Rodrigo, but someone like him who'll chip in with anywhere between 10 to 20 a season, the higher end of 10 to 20 a season, goes such a long way. Because you look at Liverpool and you want to talk about the gap between us and them. One of the major things they have in their favor is their goals are really spread out. I know Salah scores a shed load, but the Liverpool goal scoring charts, they're really spread out. They have 4, 5, and 6 players who all chip in with 8 to 15 each from midfield upwards, which is really, really what we used to have. Of course we did when we had Gundogan, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Bernardo, Sterling, whoever. All these lads were 8 to 15 to 20 goals a season each, and you still had a killer up top in the likes of Aguero for parts of it anyway. So I think City have to address a few of those things. I don't think we should be. I think the midfield thing with Reinders, yeah, absolutely great. But the forward line obviously looks like Jack Grealish may potentially leave. I would, if he's going to leave, I would like his spot to be replaced with someone who's guaranteed a certain quality, guaranteed goals. I think there's project in Bob, there's project in Doku, there's project in Savio. We can all nitpick at which ones we want to keep and which ones we want to stay. Bottom line is, none of them you can start next season and say he's a 15-goal a season guy.
No, and you're spot on, and I think that is probably the reason why I think Pep is going to change the system. Here's something that kind of winds me up a little bit, is when people say, "Oh, Pep can't rebuild, Pep can't." Like, Pep literally has changed the way Manchester City play so many times throughout his period at Manchester City. It's incredible that there's people still out there who think he still plays the same way as when he did when we first walked in the door. Yeah. You look at the Sterling Sane, that was completely different to the treble team. The treble team is completely different to the team now, the way that they play. It's unbelievable. And for me, I look at that winger situation, and I spoke a lot this season about this winger situation, because I think it's a really bad position that we're in at the moment, because I think our 3 wingers at the moment, obviously maybe in future years, yeah, at the moment, none of them you can trust to put in a consistent performance throughout the season for various different reasons. Yeah, Doku maybe don't connect. Savio needs development. Bob is not fit. Again, next season, maybe things can change, right? But the problem you've got is, because we need 2 midfielders, high-quality midfielders, not projects. You're talking Tijani around 60 mil. Gibbs White's going to be the other guy, 70 mil. We need 2 full-backs because we have none. That's 50 mil a piece. You need a new goalkeeper if Ederson leaves. You're talking anywhere from 30 to 50, 60 million. Do we have the funds available to then go and get a quality winger on top of that? Because there's no point in sorting everything out and then going, we need a winger, but we've only got 40 million. So let's just go and get another Doku or another Savio. There's no point in doing that. If you're going to hit the market for a winger because you don't like your current wingers because you don't think they're good enough, you need to go and get someone quality. Someone like a Kvaratskhelia, someone like a anyone really. If it's Rodrigo, whoever it is, but they're going to cost money, upwards of 60 million quid, mate. Upwards of 60 million quid. And that's why I've said throughout the whole thing is, I think it's a major issue, but I think that's going to be parked until next summer. And the way that Pep will address this is not to sit here and be like, I'll just keep playing Doku, Savio, and Bob. Bob maybe, and because obviously he's been injured. I think he's just not going to play with wingers. And I'm convinced and I could be wrong, but I'm convinced next year you're going to see a system where we don't play a lot with natural wingers. You have Marmoush off the left who tucks in. Marmoush will effectively you'll be a winger, he'll tuck in. You get Nori bobbing forward. Yeah, and instead of like when we've had Gavardio's come infield, yeah, a bit more O'Reilly style. I think O'Reilly's sort of like shown Pep the light of when O'Reilly's got forward and he's put some crosses into the box. It's been amazing. So I think that's how he's going to address it. Maybe he could play with one winger on the other side. I don't know. But I feel like we are about to see the return of wing backs at this football club. And I can't tell you, lads, how excited I am to say that, because I just want to see an overlapping fullback who can whip a ball in. And I've not seen that for years, man. And I think it's mega. I really do. So I think Nori could be the it should help Haaland, absolutely. And Marmoush and Gibbs White, if he's box crashing, I think it's going to add an extra dimension to our game, Amos, because something that I'm sure you spoke on your podcast about is we are so predictable as a team to play against. We go through the middle, and unless Nunez is playing, that's pretty much it. Doku can try and take players on, left, right, and centre, but ultimately it rarely ends with an assist or anything. So I think Nori, I'm getting really excited about this, man. I hope City can get this across the line. I think Nori could offer us such a different attacking feature to our game. I don't know what you're saying about that, because we are predictable, isn't it?
Oh, it's so predictable. That those Akanji overlapping runs in that FA Cup final, man. If you ever need sort of to fall asleep, or you're struggling to sleep, just stick that on, because it was just terrible. It was horrifically boring. But I think Nori. People were speaking about Kirkes, and I don't know, man. He's done it for one season. If that, he's done it for half a season, really, with Bournemouth. And it's the same with Dean Huyson. These are really talented young players. But you look at some of the figures that are being bandied about for them. It's a bit mad, but maybe it's recency bias. Maybe it's, blue tinted glasses or whatnot. But Nori, genuinely, I say it in good faith, he's got the Premier League experience. He's at a team at Wolves who probably shouldn't take a lot. And let's be honest, they're down, what did he finish, below United, level on points or something like that. So I think that there's an option there. He's probably not going to cost too much. He's got 1 year left in his deal, plus a club option for an extra year. So, a net 2-year contract still with Wolves. Again, probably shouldn't take a lot in terms of finances. He's 23 years old. He's got international experience. A left-hand side with Nori and Marmoush has got flavour. It's got real
goals,
sort of promise, I think.
It's got real
it
goals,
does, doesn't it? It's got. You see, so I dig that stat before. Nori scored more goals this season than Grealish, Doku. Oh no, one fewer goals than Grealish, Doku, and Savinho combined. Those three have got 5 together in the Prem this season. Nori's got 4. Nori this season got more goal contributions in the Prem than Foden did. Both goals and assists. Imagine we had the delight of that. It'd be wonderful.
Well, I think you're going from it, because obviously we have serious goal scoring issue at this football club. Marmoush has solved some of that by adding goals to his game, and I'm so happy we signed him. You know what I mean?
Different types of goals as well, which I think is important. It's not just like that one same goal. He's scoring from all over. He'll
score from everything, and then you add Nori, who's got 4 goals, 7 assists from the left-hand side. I just think, again, it just transforms our game, and I just feel that we've just become too stale this year, and I think when you get some of these players out, you get some of these players in, and we change system and we go back to these fullbacks. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. I think, let's see how it goes, man. But if we can get these players in, if we can get these 3 players in next week, can you imagine I know the window isn't officially open, but you can agree a deal like you're seeing. Here we go. If we can get deals agreed with Tijani Reinders, Nori, and then one more next week, before the Club World Cup, I think that will give the fan base such a lift, because I can understand why some fans are getting a little bit twitchy about what's going on here. We are behind Liverpool, and they're signing Verts by the looks of it. They've just got Frimpong. They're getting Kirkes, and we've not got anything yet agreed, even though it is early days, and I urge patience with people. But people want to see deals done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think this Nori guy, honestly, I think he's going to be a great player. I've been saying his name for quite some time, and 23 years old, he's so young, but at the same time, he's pretty experienced now. He's been playing Premier League football for a number of years, and I think he's got that ability that in a year's time, 2 years, we could be sitting here saying this guy could be like a world-class left-back. and he's so technically gifted. Is Miles better suited for us than Kirkes, by the way?
Yeah.
I'll say that with chest. Yeah. He's miles better suited than Kirkes. Kirkes probably has a better cross on him in terms of that whip. Yeah, but like we're not looking to buy the next Alexander Kolarov, man. We're looking to buy a techie baller that can do a little bit of everything. He can drive with it. He can go into midfield. He can invert. He can do the crossing thing. He can come to the edge of the box and try and unlock a defense. Like, I feel, I don't want to like just shit on Kirkes because he's a good player and that is what it is. But I do feel that for City, yeah, maybe they'll say Kirkes is better for them. I feel for City, Ait-Nouri is the perfect player. I think Pep's going to love this guy, man. I think
you can get your Algeria shirt back out as well. You can
get it back out, but I still wear it every day, mate. You know what I'm saying?
You can,
that left hand side would be sick. Egyptian and Algerian need that.
You can see why Pep likes Ait-Nouri. You can see him, the technical ability. Like he has that ability that if you were really struggling, you could see him step into midfield, like as a midfielder if really needed be, and that's the kind of players that Pep absolutely loves. I don't know if he's going to go with the full on wing backs, like full electric mode next season. But for me, it's just about having the different options and having the different styles of play and the different areas of danger around the pitch, because we're so goddamn predictable at the minute. You know, I would love someone like Ait-Nouri, who's obviously he's a creator, he's a danger himself going forward, but then also having a winger in Marmoush, maybe another winger thrown in there as well, who'll also get you goals and assists. You've got Haaland up there too, who'll do his thing. Because as of right now, it's been, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to look at who City's top scorers are this season. You know, Haaland, probably have Kovacic somewhere in there.
Foden second.
Everyone's been saying Foden's absolutely shit, and he's our second highest goal scorer, and I think he's got like 8 assists on top of that as well, which is like,
he had that
that's
run,
probably a red
didn't
flag
he,
in itself, though.
January. Did he? We played Ipswich and Brentford. He got a couple, I think, and it's like, Foden's back, and then fucking never to be seen again this season.
I think these players that are, you know, there's a good chance they're coming in. It was Ait-Nouri, Reinders, maybe even Gibbs White could come in next week. I think whilst the fans will feed a lot off the excitement of that, I think the players that are already there too will. I really do, and I've said this for ages here. I think it's gone stale in that dressing room. I just get the vibe that it's just gone stale, and the spark and the flair that you need going into every single game just was either not there at all or just not the same level it used to be. And it often takes a new arrival or two to come in and just shake the place up.
But Hugh, you know that is something that happens at every football club, right? For me, it's absolutely crucial that you, especially when you win the league, I think when you win the league, you need to keep the hunger levels up and you need to keep competition up. And if you look at 2012 when we won the league, look at our signings once we won the league that year. They were shit. Look at the signings that we won the league. Which one was it? Well, this year we won it, and we signed Gundogan on a free and Savio. I can't remember what we did in 2020. I feel like that might be more injury based, and I can't really remember what we did with Pellegrini. I think Pellegrini's first year. Who did we sign after Pellegrini's double? We signed anyone good that year?
Was it Rodwell?
We signed it as well.
No, Rodwell was the after 2012-13 season. We signed Bonnie in the January though, wasn't it? It wasn't even in the summer, because remember he couldn't play until like February because he was on Africa Cup of Nations duty or something like that.
Didn't we snub someone as well to get Bonnie? We snubbed someone that turned out to be sick.
Dybala.
Was it
Dybala?
Oh, God.
Was it Dybala? I think it was some other.
But I saw Wilfred Bonny at City Comp the other day. It was just hilarious, man. Like, he's just the most NPC goals of all time.
I know, but his touch was cold. I would say this though, if you look at 3 years ago, we brought in Haaland. 2 years ago, we brought in Gavadio, and then this year, unfortunately, we just gone stale. And then it goes stale. The whole gaff goes stale. And then because these players are winners, they don't like losing. When shit goes bad, shit goes really bad, and then you start to hear things coming out. You hear like fucking Bernardo Silva coming out of the dressing room saying, I realise what players I can go to war with. Walker, club captain, decides to dip it during January. And it's just like, and this is why I've said this plenty of times, but this is why I feel like I know Pep's got a lot of stick this year, and I do feel like he does deserve quite a lot of stick because I think some of his managerial decisions have been crazy. But at the same time, I don't think people truly understand some of the shit that he's had to deal with this year. And said this last week on a different stream. I'm telling you now, those Bernardo Silva comments should open the eyes of every single City fan in the world to let you know that stuff has been going on in that dressing room that you will not believe. Those Bernardo Silva comments were unreal, mate. Your captain's dipped halfway through a season, and then this guy comes out and says he realizes what players he can go to war with. Come on, man. Come on. So it's again, we've got to refresh this team. We know that. Let me go through some of these super chats. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you guys are smashed up on the likes. We've got 1.4k people tuned in on YouTube. Let's get these likes up to 500. And big up to everyone that is tuning in on X. The link is posted on my Twitter account. So if you want to come over there, because the stream will end on X now. So click the link on my Twitter profile and you can come and watch it in it. But big up to everyone that is in the building. Right, let's go through some of these super chats, man, because a few come in, boys. Big up to Rio says, why is City going for Livramento instead of Cambiasso? I think there's a couple of reasons. One is homegrown, and two, the higher the price for Cambiasso, the more you push towards Livramento, in my opinion, because of that homegrown thing. So if you can get Cambiasso for 40 million, you'll get Cambiasso. But if they start saying 55, 60, 65, City might just go, well, we might as well just pay 65, 70 and go and get Livramento. If you can get Livramento out of Newcastle, that's a different question. And a lot of Newcastle fans are very confident that they don't need to sell. But that's probably why. I think, listen, City have got to inquire. City have got to inquire with Newcastle, right? They have to inquire. They can't just not try and get one of the best up-and-coming fullbacks in the country. Whether they get him out is a different question, but let's see. Shout out Radu, man. Says Spanish journalist followed by Fabrizio is linked. Rodrigo again. MTFC's said the same. He said Rodrigo info from a Relevo journalist. Amos, you might be the best person to ask about this. Do you know this Relevo? Are they decent source?
Yeah, Spanish outlet. I think the thing with Rodrigo is, by all accounts, Real Madrid might listen to offers. It's whether or not City want to push that. You know what I mean? You speak about the bits that they need to do with the squad. It feels like, from reading stuff in Spain and whatnot, it feels like if Real Madrid can bank a decent amount of money, then they'd say yeah. But yeah, I as much as everyone can sit and say yeah, Rodrigo would be great for City, and I do think he would be. I think he'd be a useful addition. I don't know if I can see City making that move. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can see him sort of picture him there with the shirt, with the Fabrizio here we go and stuff like that. I don't know. Hope I'm wrong.
I think it's because he plays for Real Madrid. The idea of taking a young star off Real Madrid is just alien to me. I would absolutely love it, but as you say, to see the graphic and the tweets and him with the Etihad would just be. It just feels abnormal. There's one there in the chat. Someone's Alonso said he's going to stay. He wants Rodrigo to stay. So maybe he'll have a word with him and say,
well, yeah. I don't think he's going to come out and say now he can piss off, and that'll probably be a bad way to start your first day in charge, unless you're Ruben Amorim, of course, with Garnacho. What do you rate of Garnacho, by the way, just quickly? Good player.
I think he's a Spurs level player.
Europa League level player.
Right. He's like a Champions League, I think he's all right. I don't think he's as bad as some of them United fans make him out to be, but I won't want him at City. No chance.
You should go to somewhere like Sevilla or one of those places. You'd start seeing highlights of him cooking in the Europa League. Dortmund would be cool, yeah, but nice. I don't think he's top 6 Premier League.
Really?
Yeah, weird one.
Nah.
Yeah, big up Adrian for that as well. Shout out to Kevin, man. He says Hugh is cooking with the grease. Oh, come on, bro. Big up to you, man. Big up HSK as well for a $100 dono, bro. Big up to you, man. I do appreciate it. He says, hi, guys. Can I get some W's in the chat as well? Hi, guys. I cannot help but wonder what message is Pep trying to send by saying, with a fit Rodri and Foden, will be fine next season. To be honest, bro, I think that with Rodri and Foden, if we can get Rodri and Foden back to it, yeah, I think we will be in the mix for the Premier League because we get minimum 10 points with Rodri and fully on it Foden, yeah. So, but we do need signings. You know what Pep's like? Pep is so loyal to his players. He's not going to sit there in a press conference and say, bloody hell, Viada's got a lot of work to do because I'm playing with Kovacic, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. It's a miracle that I've got this team. You know when Jose Mourinho came out when he finished second in United and went, the best thing I've ever done is got this fucking team to second place. Pep is not going to do that. Pep's going to glaze the players and all that kind of shit. And what I would also say is, HSK, and you said this the other day yourself, yeah, trust Khaldoon and trust the new guy, Viana, to do it, yeah, because ultimately it's their job, to get the squad sorted, and it's Pep's job to coach them. So I think we just need to trust that Viana has control. Obviously, Tiki in the background helping, but Viana has control of the squad, and it's Pep's job just to coach them. And I do not believe for 1 second, given the fact Viana's got no emotional connection to any of these players, that Viana is going to come in here and be sentimental. Because if he is, he will not last more than a couple of years before he's replaced by somebody else.
Someone needs to send Pep on holiday. Just say, "Up you pop, Pep. We'll come back in August. This is your players." I genuinely think he'd be mint with that. If you said that this is a squad, make something of it. Because I do agree. Like I think. It's hard to say, Pep's been too sentimental, because those players, like Guardiola's never done this. I think we have to recognise we're in uncharted territories with the manager as well. He did 4 years at Barcelona, 3 years at Bayern. He's almost always been a one-cycle manager. Are we I'd say third generation Pep team now? You might even say, you might even say fourth.
Minimum,
Yeah. Definitely. So I think, we do have to recognise this is uncharted water, and you can see why a player like Bernardo Silva Pep's going to love. And I do think towards the end of the season he did improve, but for the most part this season he was rubbish. But I do think, like you say, Hugo Viana has to be balls on the table sort of operating now, because it's his reputation on the line as well, which I think is why it's good that fresh faces, fresh ideas, probably you might say 12 months too late, but hey, if they can correct some of those mistakes, then I think that would be, fantastic.
No, I agree. Big up HSK again, bro. I really appreciate the super chat, the donation. Big up to Russ. Says, I feel our summer transfer window will be hugely disappointing, like our season. Liverpool will beat us to both Wirtz and Kirkes. Never mind Frimpong. Well, like I've already said, I think Ait Nouri's a better fit for City than Kirkes. Anyway, and yeah, I can't disagree. Wirtz, it is a disappointment. We got to go and land the best we can do now. That's all, again, for me, it's always about intent. Yeah, we went for Wirtz. We didn't get him. He rejected us. Now it's about moving for the next guy. Who's the next guy? Tijani Reinders, Syria, our player, midfielder of the season. Yeah, impressed. Let's go and get him. Left back, Ait Nouri, brilliant signing. Yeah, if Edison leaves, who's the best goalkeeper we can get? It's all about intent. Can we go for the best players? Yeah, you're not going to get them all. But it is disappointing. And I think we're in a fundamentally different period now, because going into next season, there'll be a lot of people that don't have City as favourites. Whereas for the last 4 or 5 years, every season, City favourites, City favourites, City favourites, City favourites. I just think that, like, fundamentally, like, we don't have as good players. And no matter who we buy this summer, we're not going to have as good a squad as it was in the treble year. So it is it's difficult, man. We're in a different position. Shout out to Tony. Says, if you bring in those players you just talked about, who goes as Pep wants a small squad? Well, Echeverri will be loaned. At least 2 of the unks have got to go. I think Rico Lewis is at serious risk of getting sold this summer for various different reasons.
You say the issue there, though, LB, homegrown quota.
So the way I did it, I had it bang on.
Just over the finger.
Just
is that including Scott Carson as well?
I replaced him with Kasper Schmeichel.
Okay.
Who's also club trained for the UEFA Champions League.
You replaced Carson with Kasper Schmeichel.
Is he under contract at Celtic still?
He's just signed a new deal at Celtic.
When did he sign that?
About 3 months ago.
Little cheeky bid, no?
That's an extra 5 months.
Well, yeah. So apparently, Scott Carson not signing a new contract anyway.
No, he's out. I'm pretty sure he's out. He's been on a 1-year rolling contract for.
But you've got to get a goalkeeper who's in that third choice who's English.
Yeah, easy, easy.
It's just a banker in it, and like if you can go and find, what's that fucking goalkeeper we used to have that we loaned to Rochdale? This is one for the proper nerds. We had a goalkeeper, like a academy goalkeeper, yeah, and we loaned him to Rochdale, and I don't know what he's called by, but he played for Rochdale like 3 years ago. Go and get him back as the number 3 because he's homegrown, and I think he might have been Irish actually. Not remembering.
Gavin Pizzuno?
Nah. He was not on that level. He wasn't on that level. Slicker. Is he?
Yeah, it's Kieran Slicker.
Yeah, he's club trained as well. Go and get him, man, as a third choice. Yeah.
What's he? Give him a bell. Someone get in the chat. Get his number. Someone's got him. Surely. Should we ring him on the stream? Tap him up.
Yeah, but you've got that's a tricky one, man. And this is why I always see these comments. I'm sure you guys see it on Twitter. You probably see it on the your comments on your podcast as well, Amos, is that the amount of people that have said to me, LB, our outgoings are actually more important than our incomings. And I'm like,
I see that.
I hear it. I hear why you're saying that, to be honest with you. Like, I do feel like we've got to get players in, but at the same time, like, we've got to be making sure we are getting rid of some of these players because some of them
I thought, yeah.
Got to make room.
I thought, I can't remember what conversation we were having, but I thought a couple of days ago, Pep going on about small squad, etc. I can see a situation where you don't move on Grealish or you don't move on insert player that City might want to get rid of, and you're looking at a 26-man squad at the start of next season, or maybe they do some panic sort of shifting on loans towards the end of the transfer window, but at least at the start of that season, first Premier League game, I think it's 10th of August or something like that, I can see a situation where there's a few players knocking about the building who haven't got deals sorted yet, and I think City are right. What I want to see City do this summer is go out and get the players you need. None of this sort of, if one goes out, we'll bring in like we saw last summer. I think City need to be proactive, but there is a situation where there are a couple of heads knocking about that you can't really shift. I think it is certainly one to watch.
So who are them? So what sort of names do you think?
Yeah,
and why do you think we can't get rid of them?
Just because, for example, Grealish's wages, is that going to be an issue?
Right.
Because let's face it, no one's touching that 300 grand a week. He's going to have to accept a significant drop down. But it looks like the writing's already on the wall with Grealish. I think if you're bringing in two midfielders, at least one of Kovacic, Bernardo, or Gundogan has to go. I think Gundogan's done enough to prove that he could probably do it another year. Then you sort of pick in between Kovacic and Bernardo Silva. I think at least one of John Stones and Nathan Ake has to leave as well.
Stones got to go, man.
Yeah, I mean, it pains me to say it because we're talking about bona fide legends of the club, or at least top players that have been at City. But it does have to be a ruthless summer. And as much as I am sort of, as a footy fan, generally sentimental, and I don't like to see these players, it was emotional watching De Bruyne say his farewell and stuff, but you do have to remove yourself from that, I think, this summer, because if you don't, you do run the risk of sitting here and having the same problems that have been the case this year. And I don't think it's going to get close to being as bad, but if you can't shift those players, then it does sort of present problems.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear it. That Grealish one's big in it because he's on such big money. Like, Bernardo's on the same money, right? But you can find a buyer. You can find a place for Bernardo to go if you chose that you wanted to Bernardo. So I know there's a lot of City fans that want to keep him, but like if you wanted to get rid of Bernardo, I'm pretty sure you could get rid of Bernardo quite easily, right? And Benfica would probably take him. He's only 31. Grealish is obviously more tricky, but we might speak about that in a bit. Let me just finish off these super chats. Shout out to Russ, says LFC or Liverpool shopping at Waitrose. We're shopping at Asda, says Russ. Yeah, Asda's fell off, man. I can't lie. So if we are shopping at Asda, we're cooked, bro. I'll be real. Shout out to Manaji says, do we still need to replace Mahrez? He was clinical. Well, I think we've different position. I think we've sort of done that a little bit with the addition with Marmoush, because he'll now provide goals from the left. People will say he's an Alvarez replacement. Well, but not really, because Marmoush is going to take up a winger space, not a midfielder space, whereas Alvarez played in midfield last year. But I still think you need to be getting players in the squad that can get goals. And I think we are doing that. You look at Aït-Nouri, he's got 4 goals this year for Wolves, and he's got 7 assists. Marmoush will cook next year. Bob coming back in will score more goals than Doku and Savio probably combined if he plays the full year, to be honest with you. Tijani Reinders will probably be good for 10 to 15 goals. Rodri coming back in is usually good for 10 to 15 goals. So, I think that obviously, when we lost Mahrez's goals, I do think those goals were massively underrated and underappreciated. But I think we're slowly, and I think this summer, we'll slowly get some of those goals back and spread across the side. But
Alvarez was a big one as well last summer.
Alvarez was a big one.
Yeah, the amount of goals he just pop up with.
That's spot on. Big up Russ again, says Doku headless chicken and Savio can't finish. No fullbacks. Yeah, facts, bro. We have no fullbacks. Doku for me has 1 more year. And Savio needs to learn to shoot. Shout out to Kev, man, for the super chat. Appreciate it, bro. Says, do we honestly know what we're getting with Foden moving forward? from Premier League Player of the Year to a nowhere man within a season is a stunning drop in form that we need to seriously address and be honest about. What do you guys think? Well, first of all, the answer to the first question is no. We have no idea what we're going to get next season. Could it be Player of the Year from last year? Is it going to be the same Foden as this season? Is it going to be somewhere in between? We have no idea, and no one can say what's going to happen with Foden going into next year. Unfortunately, all we can do is hope and pray that he gets back to what he was last year. That's it.
Do you rate he will? Question for both of you, and I don't mean like peak as in, like everything from now on is going to be a drop off. But if we think of last season as the best season Foden's ever had, do you think he'll match that? Do you rate he can get to that sort of level again?
So that depends on what's caused him to drop off this year, because there's been so many rumors flying about. I don't know if anyone truly knows. It's been like people say he's got mental health issues, his ankle, he's got digestive problems. I don't fucking know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. If what's caused him to get here where he is now, which is obviously not a good place, to the point where he's being, left out the England squad or asking to stay out, he's got health issues. If that can be solved and cured, or whatever the word is, then yeah, of course, I think he can get back up there, because he's so naturally talented and naturally gifted that he didn't fluke what he did last year. Last year, he can repeat every single year, right? But it depends what's caused this season and whether that can be fixed. And like I say,
I think,
all we can do really as fans is hope.
No De Bruyne will help him, and that seems mad to say because Kev's, greatest ever, whatever. We've done that conversation, but him not having to trip over De Bruyne in the similar spaces, I think will certainly help. And I think he can. I think he can put up a close to 20 goal a season, 20 goal, 20 assist season. I think he genuinely can. Like you say though, the factors are so ambiguous, which is part of the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Hugh, you got anything to say on Foden?
It's such a weird one because it's just all speculation, really, isn't it? Like I have loads of theories as to what happened to Phil Foden. I think last summer affected him a lot more than maybe people realized. The whole Euros thing, because the pile on Phil Foden last summer from the nation was absolutely wild. That may have affected him longer term than we know. I don't know about any other health issues or mental health issues, if he does, if he doesn't, but it's not an ability thing with Phil Foden. Like, I know last season was his on demand kind of season, but he's always been at a particularly high level. He's always maintained a consistently high level, which I don't think you can just fall off a cliff from unless something serious is bothering you. So I don't know. It's about himself and the club getting him back to where he needs to be. But if we can get him back to where he needs to be, in many ways it'll be like a new signing, because he wasn't there really this season, was he? It'll be if you can get Phil Foden fully fit and back to those levels where he's doing the sniper signs at the camera. It's like having a new player. It really is, because there's goals and assists. I'm talking about goals not being spread around the team. You listed off a few players there, LB, who can chip in with anywhere between 5 to 15, depending on who it is. Foden, at his best, is a 15 goal and maybe 15 assist season type player as well. And that would be absolutely massive. So I think one of the big jobs Pep has this summer is get to the bottom and try and solve the Phil Foden debacle. I think it's a good thing he's not involved with England in a few weeks' time.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing.
I agree.
I would love him to just go on holidays, put your feet up, spend time with the kids, and sort yourself out.
I'm going to be so insufferable when he gets back to his best. I'm going to be horrific. The amount of bookmark tweets and stuff like that. I mean, some of the shite he's taken this year is just ridiculous.
Do you know those player comparison debates? Like Haaland versus who was it? Nunes, and then you had De Bruyne versus Bruno. I want Foden to be there with, say, Wirtz. I want that to be like the next big battle between players. Foden versus Wirtz, both going for the league, both spearheading creativity in their teams. That's what I want to see from Phil Foden. I want to see him be a top player, and I believe he's a top player. He is a top player, but he gotta get around the problem.
Like I said, for me, I'd do everything possible this summer to allow him the maximum recovery time so he can get back in August. Because then, if you do that and he's not on it, then you've got a bit of a problem then, because you've given him the whole summer to rest, recover, get back into the swing of things. Whereas if you play him in the Club World Cup, he goes to England, he's still crap when he comes back. Everyone's going to be like, well, he needed rest, more excuses. I'm almost like at the point now where I don't want there to be any excuses now going into next season. So let him have the full summer off, I would not take him to America. I'd let him stay here. Yeah,
they will take him to America.
I know they will because they have to, and obviously, there's a lot of money on the line. The club want to win that tournament, but I think sometimes you have to, you have to sacrifice some short-term situation. It's not if they get Gibbs White over the line, they get Tijani Reinders over the line. It's like you're desperate to play Foden. I just feel like we are better off in the medium and long term if Foden doesn't go to that tournament. Even though I want to win the tournament, because then if he comes back, he's got no excuses, and hopefully he can cut. But it's a good question, Kev. I will have the only thing I can say is, and it sounds mad, is we are Hope FC on Foden. That's it for me because we don't know. Shout out Rambe says, win the Club World Cup, let's piss the rivals off and then get Rodrigo. Anthony says, next week we've got to have at least 6 signings done. We've got to spend a lot more money. Well, I think 200 million minimum up towards 300 is what needs to be spent, bro, to get us back on top. I think 6 next week is a little stretch, maybe across the whole summer. 6 is probably what we're looking at, 4 goalkeeper, and then maybe you get a surprise one. But 6 next week's probably a little bit too soon, my bro, to be honest. Built to Ash says, Sam Lee on his podcast tonight said Edison family don't want to stay in England and asking prices a lot lower. Wanted European move last year, not Saudi. What? Wow. Did not expect that. He wanted a European move, not Saudi. That's disappointing, man. I can't lie.
He's getting him. He's getting him. Because City, go back to last summer. What has he got? 2 years left in his deal. City. I reckon City want 30 million for Edison last summer off a European club.
Barcelona.
Bas can't pay their own players, can they? They can't register their own players. So,
would surprise me if Barcelona came in if that's the case.
I just don't think they're gonna. I don't think City would accept a deal that had. What is he now? Got 1 year left in his deal. Expires end of next summer. I reckon still 15 million for Edison. If a European club comes knocking this summer, I think 15 million, 10 million, something like that. And even still for a keeper who's 31 at the start of next season, upcoming season, that's still a thingy.
Yeah, that's disappointing news, man. If that's true, I can't lie because I could kind of accept it a little bit easier if you just wanted to go Saudi and get the bag, because then it's like not an emotional fucking decision. Purely based on money. And listen, I got no problem if anyone goes Saudi, get the cash. Like, you're getting wealth generation, like, it's mad. But if you go to a European team, then it's kind of like it's personal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, what? You know what I'm saying? So that's a bit disappointing if that's true. Russ says Pep losing his aura. We're second fiddle to Arsenal at Liverpool, says Russ. You're on one tonight, Russ. You're
Russ
on one
happy,
tonight.
Man. Russ ain't happy.
Nah, Russ ain't happy tonight, man. He wants players in rapid. And shout out to Basco Eostoria says, I guarantee you that Bertz was keen to sign for us, even took a trip to Manchester, but these bored clowns didn't want to pay enough for the guy, in my opinion. Listen, that's what's been said in the media. I don't. Do you what do you guys believe that, or do you think we got rejected?
No, we got rejected.
The figures involved, man. There's no way. There's no way at 200 grand a week, reported 120 million pound all in, including bonuses, transfer fee. There's no way the money's an issue.
We knew what he was going to cost for months. Yeah. Or had a vague idea what he was going to cost for months.
He was number one target. He was hashtag number one target.
He said, I don't want to go to City. So City went, yeah, well, you're kind of expensive anyway, mate. So we didn't really want you.
Why didn't they just hold the L? You know what I mean? I think they did similar to Declan Rice when he said that.
I said it would have been much better off just coming out and saying, like, listen, we went all in, but turns out, he wasn't that committed to us. So we, obviously we've got to move on to another target. And I think that would have been so much better than putting out that fucking statement about money. Because if that is true, which it's not, yeah, then that is fair dues. And I think the City fans at that point will go, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Why the hell are you putting out for a deal for Verts, bro, on a money thing? So it's kind of like, I don't know why they've done that. Obviously they felt that putting out a story saying they've been rejected would be worse than putting out a money story, which is just crazy. It's just that's just ridiculous to me, because you've given City fans a legitimate reason to cook the board by blaming the money situation. You know what I mean? When obviously you're replacing Kevin De Bruyne, it comes up that you've also told Kevin De Bruyne to leave, who's on less money. Verts would be on less money than KDB's on. So you're saving money there. So it's just stupid. But why did he put that story out? I don't know.
But it's in some ways it's worked for City, because there's a worrying amount of people online who are saying Verts really wanted City. Verts chose City, but City wouldn't pay the cash or something along those lines. It's that's not the case. It was a save face operation. Just he
Mm.
didn't want us. So I don't know. I don't think it's worked out as bad for City when there's that amount of people who believe what they said. But it's just when you look at transfers for years, you kind of get an idea of what's really happened. And what's really happened there is he came to Manchester and had a look around, probably said it's nice and said, I don't really want to go here.
I think we've got to be realistic, though. You know, Guardiola's going into his 10th season. That's never been done before. Let's face it. Is he going to sign another extension? Right now, I'd say no. You've got to, as much as I don't think 115 is having a big issue, for the top elite number one sought after talents in Europe, you've got to kind of, in the back of your head, say, it might be. Who knows? And I think you've got to say, look, City have had the dominance. Liverpool have just won the league. There's every chance someone's looking at it and going, they're going to make me the face of the team, blah, blah. What I would say is an issue, though, is the fact that City have always sort of prided themselves on making, especially for a number one target. This isn't a guy who they were like, you know, third or fourth choice. If we get him, it'd be nice. I do think it is interesting that City have possibly, for the first time in a while, missed out on, you know, like laid the red carpet out by all accounts. And the project was just not good enough. That'll be interesting over the next few weeks to see if anything comes out about that, as in, you know, why Vert said no. But I do think City, we do have to be a little bit realistic that the sands have maybe shifted a tad. Not a lot, but a tiny bit, a tiny percentage.
I think the fact that City commented on it at all makes it look bad for City. It makes it look like I think it would have preferred if they just didn't say anything and just pretended. Oh, maybe we weren't even in for him at all. It was all just fucking.
Well, they
but
themselves
what
straight
happens
away
is
from
then
that.
Some journalist will then create some fucking bullshit story.
Yeah, but City don't need to add fuel to the fire.
No. But if you don't add the fuel to the fire, someone else will add their own fuel. So it's better for you to take control of the situation and put out your own story rather than let someone else put out a story that could be complete BS and make it even look even worse. The problem is,
I don't want any stories from City. I don't want any stories. Just stop writing stories and sign some players. How about that? Yeah.
I mean, fairs. We all agree on that one. Right, before we wrap up, we did speak a little bit about it before, right? We touched on it, the Rodrigo thing, right? But what I want to ask you guys is, do you think that there is space in the squad for Rodrigo? Do we have to let anybody go? Yeah, other than maybe Jack Grealish. I'm talking Bob, Savio, or Doku to bring him in. And where would you see him potentially playing? I'll start off with you, Amos. Where would you potentially see him playing if we did do it? Because there are some sources coming out saying that he's interested. We've seen Rodrigo glaze City, glaze Pep before. City Extra Portuguese have an exclusive on it saying that their Rodrigo's like representative or whatever has made some sort of initial conversation with City or whatever the words are. So there's something obviously going on. It seems like it's a very low level, but yeah, Amos, what are you thinking about Rodrigo? Like, would you have him at City?
I think I would have him at City, yeah, because he's a top player. Is it doable? I think it depends what. It's one of them to me. Like, I think you get your necessary business done first, and you see where the land lies in terms of finances, in terms of, you know, players. I said before that I don't want to see City waiting about for players to leave before they make moves. I think that's the case for, you know, midfield, possibly, well, certainly fullback, a couple other positions. I think this is one of the ones where you see like, okay, who's in it? Who's going to go? Can we shift Jack Grealish? You know, what else lands? Because you'd say at the moment, unless I'm missing anyone, obviously you've got the three youngsters or the three younger players in Doku, Bob, Savio. Foden can maybe play on the wing. Bernardo Silva, if Bernardo goes, there's minutes on the wing, you know, assuming Grealish goes as well. So I think in terms of, off the top of my head, without writing them down, I'm pretty sure there would be space. Marmoush is there as well, of course. Forgot about him. So that's probably, including Haaland, 6, 7, quote-unquote, attacking players. A couple of them will play in midfield. So I think there's definitely space. My only thing is, I just, right now, where we stand, I don't see what avenue it goes down where City move for this, because I just think there's more important issues in the squad.
Yeah, I'm with Ben away. I get the feeling that City want a big signing through the door for whatever reason, right? And I think Benno's spot on here in that. That's cool, and I'm down for that. But only sign Rodrigo if like you actually think he's going to be a benefit to us. Now, I would take Rodrigo at Manchester City, just to be clear, yeah. But
Drake could play as a 10.
Well, apparently there's a quote of Rodrigo saying that that's his best position.
That's mad, that.
Which I've never seen before. But
no, I can't imagine we've seen it. I can't.
No, I don't think I've ever seen him play as a 10. But there's a quote where Rodrigo said his favorite position is down the middle, and I could low key see him cooking there because he's very good on his left foot and he's very good on his right foot. In terms of, you see that goal he scored against Atletico Madrid on his left foot when he cut it off the right hand side, got it on his left foot and banged it past the goalkeeper. That was on his weak foot, by the way. That was on his weak foot. So if he can score a goal like that on his, because one of the things is someone said to me the other day, LB, you think Grealish can play as a 10? Oh, no, was it Grealish? Savio. Someone said to me, do you think Savio can play as a 10? I said, no. Because when you're playing as a 10, for me, you've got to be able to score with your left foot and right foot because you need to be able to score. And it's not always just going to land on you. And that's why Kevin De Bruyne was so good.
Well, you need to be able to score with your strong foot to start off with, which at this moment in time.
I don't want to cook him too hard. I was like, I won't cook him too much, so I'll just pretend like he's good on his left. But that's why Kevin De Bruyne was so good, because we've seen him score so many goals on his left foot. Remember that goal at Leicester when he banged it with his left foot? And so maybe there is a potential that you could get Rodrigo and play him as a 10. That is something. Would he get crowded with Mamouche? I don't know. That's another thing that people say all the time. But for me, what I would say is, if he's available on the market, right? He's 24 years old. He's won it all. He scored goals. He gets assists. He's good on his left foot. He's good on his right. By all accounts, it's about 80 million quid. I don't think you, especially City where we are now, I don't really think we're able to turn it down.
If he's on the market and he's showing interest in City, I think you have to go in for him.
Yeah,
I think you have to find room for him in the squad. I think
you got to find room for him, bro.
You got to make room, and if that means someone that maybe wasn't meant to go, like Doku ends up going, or something like that, I think that's what you have to do. I'm sorry. Does he improve the squad overall? Yes.
Yeah.
Does he improve our attack overall? Yes, significantly. He is a versatile player. He can play left wing, right wing. He has played in the 10 for Brazil before. Obviously, he likes playing there, if that's a correct quote. I think he ticks all the boxes that Pep Guardiola, likes. For me, look, he's in that bracket of players, and there's not many in the world that, if he's available and he wants and he's interested, you got to put your your name in the hat. I think it's one of those opportunities that, A, yes, it's a big blockbuster signing. It's going to send some shockwaves throughout the league. B, commercially, it's going to be huge for City. They love that. They're going to sell a shitload of Rodrigo shirts. And C, like we've agreed, he undoubtedly improves our attack. Like the idea of having, I know Marmouche does it, big up Marmouche, but having wingers who can score goals to me again is exciting. I miss wingers who you go, when he gets the ball at his feet, there's a good chance he's going to set someone up or put the ball in the net himself. That's what Rodrigo is. The other lads there, mainly the three of them, Bob, Savio, and Doku, you can't guarantee that. I think people are putting an awful lot of pressure on Oscar Bob. I think people believe Oscar Bob is going to come in and put 20, 25 goals away next season. It won't happen, or at least I'd love to be proven wrong. I think it's unfair pressure. Savio and Doku, who knows? Rodrigo comes in.
I can see Savio being sent out on loan. Say for example, this World comes out. I can see because he's already done the CFG stint, hasn't he? And I think go back to last summer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like, oh, we'll see how he is in pre-season. We'll make a judgment, and then he'll be in the first team squad. Blah blah. I wouldn't be surprised if an opportunity for Rodrigo comes in. They say, all right, Savio, off you pop to, I don't know. I'm using Dortmund as an example.
I think you have to make that room for him. I think if he's there and he wants it, make the room for him. Make it happen. Nothing's impossible when there's money in the game and there's contracts and they can do whatever they want at this point, this day and age. So make it happen. Make it happen if there's a possibility, man. Everyone's going to buy a Rodrigo Man City shirt.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting one, man, because we're talking about a Real Madrid player here who's in the starting 11 pretty much every week. And yeah, obviously he does get hooked off first. But this is a player that's dumped us out the Champions League. He scored some big goals, some big goals in the Champions League. He's got that fantastic goal. He's only 24. He's won it all. Yet there are 20% of the chat is saying they don't want him. And obviously 80% is a large number. The 20% for me is still quite a significant amount of people, in the chat that don't. So let's see what some people are saying in the chat. Sebastian says, Rodrigo is surplus to requirements. We have Marmouche.
Why not have both? Why not have both? They can both play an array of positions. Like it's not a case of one or the other. We don't have to make it like Doku versus Grealish again. They can both coexist. Why do we do this? We always have to pit people up against each other. No, well, he plays there. We can't demote him. No, you can have both. Believe it or not.
Let's see what other people say. YK is saying he's not as good as City fans think. He is. Madrid fans don't even rate him. So just overrated, I guess, is something that YK is saying. Let's have a look what other people are saying. See what other people are saying, man. Doesn't seem to be. Oh, Harry says Rodrigo's averaged 9 goals for 4 straight years. Get me with Buemo. Fair dues. Pyrex says you just guys want a big money signing. Just say it. Listen. I'm not saying I'd take Rodrigo because of big money. I don't really give a shit. I'd take him because whenever I've watched him, by the odd couple of games, I think he's been great and he scored some really big goals in the Champions League. And this is something that we need to improve on, mate, because our big games, our top 6 record stinks, mate. Yeah, we need to improve our top 6 record going into next season. Yeah, 5 games we've won in the last 2 years against top 6 sides. That's shocking, mate.
What I will add on that is this summer for me, we can't be signing projects. I'm done with projects. It's like being in high school again. The amount of projects that you've had the last few years, it needs to be players who are coming in and making a difference right now.
But they are big money signings. So
of course, man, they're going to cost a big bill, and I think that's
to answer your man's question. Yeah, I want some fucking big money signings. What's wrong with saying that? We're a big club with big fucking money and big fucking expectations. So bring me some big money signings if we want to maintain those standards and those expectations. That's the answer.
And
yes,
to be fair, 80 million. If it's this day and age, 80 million ain't big money.
That's not gonna.
It's medium money. Yeah, it's medium money.
The accountant's not going to be sending nasty emails for spending 80 million. That's the reality at this day and age.
I'm trying to think. 80 million players last few years. There's got to be some stinkers, as in like players who are just nowhere near what you'd think that's worth.
Harry Maguire went for 80 million to Man United.
I mean, yeah, that was 2018 as well, wasn't it? So that's going back well.
You had Mason Mount for, was it 65? So 15 odd million off 80 quid, or 80 million quid.
Yeah, I mean that was a terrible Anthony. That's awful. Nunes, yeah. The caliber of player that you're talking about in this 80 million pound bracket.
Nicholas.
I'd
pay Villa another 100 million for that 23 season.
Do you know what though? To add to the whole big money thing, I do want players that when people see the headline, that when people see the headline, City have signed this player, it sends a bit of intimidation. I want clubs to go look at City's moves and go, damn, they're spending big and they're getting big names. I want the intimidation factor to be there. Like when we bought Haaland, everyone went, oh shit, that is a big signing, and everyone was immediately under a little bit of fear of Man City. Rodrigo comes, that's going to be the exact same thing. If Wirtz came, it would have been the exact same thing. Wirtz goes to Liverpool, I will look at Liverpool next season and go, shit, do you know what I mean? They have a man in midfield who can make anything happen at any point. So I want those kind of players. I don't mind these players that they have a bit to prove and they have potential to fulfill. But there is something very exciting for us and intimidating for others about bringing in, and you know what you're getting, a serious asset. So, of course, I want big money signings. I want big name players. Who doesn't?
Okay, cool. All right, then. Anything else from you boys?
No. Wait, Club World Cup. What's that? June 18th.
Yeah, that's.
You seen the kickoff times? I think some of them are a bit.
Two decent, one not decent.
Yeah, is it No Dad or something? Not No Dad. Why Dad?
Al-Ain,
and then Al-Ain's the 2 a.m. one.
2 a.m. driller. We will be there.
You excited for it? You bothered about it?
I'll be excited. I'll be excited if we get some players in before it. If we get Tijani Reinders, I ignore it, and even Gibbs White. Yeah, I need 3. I need to get me 3 players. 2 might be all right. If you get me 3 players, I'll be excited. If we didn't sign anyone, which is not going to happen. Yeah, but if we didn't sign anybody and then we just turned up, I'd be like, this is so dead. Yeah, but I think if you get me Ait Nouri and Tijani Reinders, and then maybe throw in one more. Yeah, I'll be excited for it, man. I can't and I think the players are going to take it proper seriously, man. Because when you listen to the players speak about it, yeah, the players are they're gassing it up big time. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
'cause
up
they're
for
gonna
it,
get
man.
fat bonuses for winning the thing. They're gonna
Yeah.
get given fat bonuses if they win.
The money involved is daft in that competition. Jesus, the
It
finances
is
are
$120
daft.
million for winning 7 games. Crazy.
Yeah, I'd be up for it if that was me.
Crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna get some practice in anyway, man, because I think I'm gonna firm it and maybe do the Brazil watch along if Wesley's in the starting 11. He's been selected by Carlo Ancelotti for the
Nice.
I think there could be some legs in that, you know. I think there could be some legs.
We didn't speak about it before, but I think Newcastle getting Champions League makes Tino Livramento a very hard deal to do.
Yeah,
just because
money.
I think Newcastle maybe let's talk about Newcastle maybe having to sell one player to raise the funds, but I think I think you're talking top dollar to get Livramento out. So I think the legs with the the Wesley right back one could be something to watch.
Yeah, and I know he's playing for Algeria as well, so I'm going to get on that as well. So yeah, a couple more scout alongs to go. Yeah, a couple of people have said that Wesley's going to be a CFG signing, man. But yeah, I think that's probably top end, that, Ben. What I've seen, it's sort of like 35-40 million euros, so about 32 million quid. But 32 million pounds surely is not CFG signing, man. You know what I mean? Unless CFG is on steroids or something at the moment. I'm not sure that's the case, especially when we literally have no fullback at the football club. So yeah, I think that would be a signing. I think that would be a signing for us. So yeah, I might get on it. But yeah, see what happens in it. See what happens. All right, then. Big up. Shout out Russ Davis says I'd have Leao over Rodrigo every day. I think that's a mad take, bro. I can't lie. I think you're on one tonight, bro. I can't lie. Russ, that's a mad take. Every time I've watched Leao, he's been awful. And I've done quite a lot of watch-alongs on AC Milan now. I've never seen him play well, bro. I think that's
last
crazy.
2 years he stunk the gaff out. There was that's
crazy
2022 season. Milan won the league. He was really good, and I think Chelsea had a sniff around him for about 80 million. And I think even Milan at that point said no. But since then he's been bobbins.
Yeah, I think you're on one tonight, Russ. Maybe you try to rage bait me or something. I don't know. I'm gonna fall for the bait. I pick up for the super chats, man. Anything from you, Hugh? What's going on, bro?
Nah, looking forward to a break now. I'm gonna do what Joe B's doing and take 2 months off.
Not on Monday nights. I'm still messaging you on Mondays, like, "Hi, bro, you on tonight, bro?" Yeah, and you, Amos.
Is Joe B having 2 months off? Is that what he said?
Yeah,
no, he said he's having 2 months off.
I think I saw.
Joe is not on the Club World Cup at all, is he?
Nah. He says that, but he'll get one sniff of Doku, pinging it into a defender's legs and be like straight back on it.
Plus, he's fully on the Oldham thing now that they're in the final. And, so yeah, is he going to that final, by the way?
Yeah, he's got his train tickets.
Is he? Yeah. What a guy.
Yeah.
All right then. All right then. Yeah. Big up to everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys smash these likes up if you've not done so already. I did a show this morning with Nobbins. If you want to go check that out, feel free to go over on the channel and watch that. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the City Ramble YouTube channel, the City Ramble podcast, daily podcast as well. Are you doing daily podcasts in the summer, transfer updates, or what's?
Yeah, you think you're down to 3 this week, and then just sort of bobbing in and out throughout the Club World Cup transfers whenever there's anything to speak about. But usually throughout the season, Monday through Friday. Up in the ante on the YouTube though, so make sure to head over there. Yeah,
I did see that. I did see a couple of videos fly out, so make sure you guys are subscribed to there. Big up Hugh as well. He's coming over. We're gonna slam some beers when he comes over, man. So yeah, be good to see you, bro.
I'll come back to YouTube when City get good again, and you can start promoting me again, man. When City San Rodrigo, I'll be here again.
You heard it, Hugo. You heard it here. Get that checkbook out.
Act like I never left.
Yeah, big up, man. Yeah, tomorrow, chat. I've got a video coming out tomorrow with me and Jay. We have a little bit of just a general chat about the end of the season, a bit of transfer talk, a bit of what happened at the weekend, and a bit more talk about Aït-Nouri. And then tomorrow, afternoon time, second channel, more LB, reacting to Aït-Nouri comp. Honestly, you guys need to legit. I'm not even just capping you. You guys need to check it out, man. Unbelievable comp. Yeah, the reaction's mad. Go check that out. But yeah, big up to you guys. Smash a like, subscribe, and we're out of it. See you later.